Bam, we're live. Bam, we're live.
Bam.
Bam. Bam. You want to do it, Scott? Yeah, I've never let anyone else ever do it, but
bam, we're live.
Thank you.
Bam. Bam,
Oh
bam.
man, I feel like I just lost
forgot
my
my
virginity.
sweatpants.
Was that inappropriate to let someone else do it? It's like you used my toothbrush.
Oh. Is that? Oh, yeah. That doesn't
Yeah,
really
it's
bother
weird.
me.
It's weird.
As weird as that sounds, it doesn't
Not
bother
be-
me.
Not between you two, Rich, but between me and Scott, it is.
Oh,
Weird.
okay. Gotcha.
Scott, I want to start off just really aggressive with you.
Okay.
Let's go.
Just really try to just fucking get all puffy chest with you. I know you're the guy now, but I was the original guy who put a camera in Rich Froning's face, and I hope you're fucking doing my previous job justice. But the nicest thing maybe human beings ever said to me, by far a games athlete has ever said to me, was one time, and my question going to be, has he ever said anything this nice to you? One time I was filming at the CrossFit Games. It was in Los Angeles, and I was in the back in the warm-up area. And Rich came up to me. I think maybe he put his hand on my lat and he goes, "Holy cow, look at those lats." And I swear to fucking God, like I'm 49 now. It's probably like, I don't know, 37. And I still tell myself that every morning just to get myself
Look
out
at those
of bed.
lats.
Look at those
lats.
fucking lats. I mean, he probably didn't say fucking, but you know, that's how I fixed it.
I don't
in
know
my
if I've
head.
gotten that far yet.
Scott's fit. Scott's
I'm sure he's way fitter than I ever was, but I'm just saying, has Rich ever said anything that nice to you? Let's not conflate the issues.
I
We know
think
you're fitter than me.
I think the greatest respect I can get from you is on like a deadlift workout, maybe.
yeah, Scott's strong. Scott has a really good deadlift.
He's
And it
wow,
stops there.
Scott's strong.
Scott is strong.
I never got anything like
Never got
that.
that.
There it is. That's my lap moment right there.
Before we start, we have a trailer. Do you see it in the brands tab, Matt?
I got it. Yep.
Okay.
Let me
Let's
know.
do it. Let's do it.
Has your training rendered you ready for anything?
And now a sprint between Briggs and Haley Adams.
Scott.
I did.
Good
That was
job.
Rory's beautiful voice there. Making the
Two
whole
good.
thing
What would
better.
be two? There's 4 goats in here. What are you talking about? Who's this guy? Bone Media. Bone is Bone. That's a great name for a
Bone?
company. Bone Media. They should follow me around. Is Bone Media? Is that you guys? Who's that?
It's Carlos Bound. He was our photographer at the games, Wadapalooza. He's actually in town right now.
Really good dude.
Yeah.
Is it? Did he come from a porn background? Bone Media.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him that.
All right.
Maybe he can let us know.
It's a great name.
It's pronounced bone. You're sure of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Only makes sense.
I went to school. Fuck off, Matt. How Scott, when I first started filming, there was nowhere like to show the shit. We had something called public access, and you could take the tape down there, and then they would show it on like some obscure channel. And then YouTube popped on the scene. But when I got my gig with CrossFit, it was truly crazy that I had all these insane human specimens to film. It was kind of like almost too good to be true. There became a point where it's like only you can fuck it up because everything you're filming is so fucking perfect. Do you feel that way? Do you ever like have to pinch yourself and be like, okay, not only am I filming some of the greatest, like most beautiful things on the planet, the way they move is beautiful, the way they look is beautiful, but you also have this outlet and this team behind you, right? You have it through the Mayhem Empire media, you have it through YouTube, you have it through CrossFit. Are you ever just like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were at the games. We had so many cameras. It felt like. I mean, I'd love to have more, but we had angles everywhere. We had all, some of the best athletes, the best team. And when I got here, we had however many 250,000 subscribers on YouTube. So immediately you're publishing to that many people. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. And how long have you been there?
Since August of 2020. So like a little over a year and a half.
And where's home for you?
Michigan. But I had moved
Okay.
from Ohio. I was working in Ohio at the time.
And how old are you?
Bottom 3 state in America.
Oh, what do you mean bottom 3? Just like in terms of just
like livability.
Oh, Ohio is? Oh, so
Yeah, it
you're
sucks.
tough. Yeah. Okay.
I don't like Ohio. I
Spoken
like the
like
people.
a true
I
Michigander.
like the people a lot, actually, but the state just sucks. It has all the downsides of Michigan with no upsides.
I like it how Rich pulls the microphone away from his mouth when he laughs when you say something bad about that state. Like when I'm gonna sniffle, but if I'm gonna laugh, I laugh right into it. I like it.
Yeah, but
Rich
people
pulls
probably
it.
get annoyed with my laughter. So, and that
No
was
one
pretty
gets
funny. That was good.
No one gets
That was
annoyed
good.
with you.
False. Never.
People get very annoyed with me. So that is false.
How old are you, Scott? Did you say
24?
And how do you get a gig at 24? And I'm guessing, I'm making the assumption that you don't have a lot of supervision over there at Mayhem. Like these projects are, no one's telling you like where you're the guy.
Yeah, I'd like to say for the most part, I'm the supervision. Like I'll collaborate with Rory on a decent amount of stuff, but usually I have to be the supervision for Bennett and Ben.
Yeah,
I'll jump in there for a second. So Scott, we had a position opening. We were, trying to grow the media side of what we had to do. And Ben was here. I think Ben was our only kind of media. Dre did a lot of
transferred over.
Yeah, Dre had just transferred over to kind of apparel. And so when we brought Brian in to kind of help behind the scenes with CFO stuff, and Rory was doing some partnerships as well as running media, we put it out there that we were looking for somebody to video. And so I think Dre actually.
Yeah, he probably posted the job and went through
Dre posted the job and went through the applications and loved Scott, said he was awesome. And so obviously Rory loved him too. So they brought him in, and, I trust those guys to make those decisions. They that's kind of the way it goes around here. You put people in positions and trust that they're going to do it. And so Scott from day one was incredible. And you know how it is with media, you have to be comfortable. Like, one, they have to be really good at their job, which Scott, that's undoubtable. And all of our media team is, but you also have to be able to relate to them so you can be real. It doesn't matter if somebody's a really good camera person, but you can't hang out with them or you can't be yourself around them. So Scott checks all those. And then Scott, with, everybody here at Mayhem's the hardest working people that we know. And man, Scott is right there with us and one of the hardest workers. And the guy just thinks in content. When you say something, he's like, ooh, the video that I could do with this, so I'll say that, we went on that elk hunt in September, and Scott's a G, man. At no point was I ever worried that, we were in it every day. We were grinding sun up to sundown, 13 hours, no showers. It was incredible. And at no point in that week did Scott complain one time. He was right there with the camera, almost died when he fell off a log. And so, Scott's one of those guys, and, all of our media team here at Mayhem, I'd go to war with them. They're awesome. They're the best. So
all those elk hunt workouts.
Oh yeah. We did a bunch of elk hunt workouts to get ready. But yeah, speaking, obviously his content is incredible and what he does with the camera is incredible, but he's an even better person, which is hard to find.
And did you find him through barbelljobs.com? Is that I'm just
shameless plug?
Yeah. Did you or did you?
Plug?
Yeah. Thank you, barbelljobs.com. So how do you get the job? Give me your take on it. A little more nitty gritty. You're fucking in Ohio. You're bummed. You're depressed. Your life sucks. Like you're about to pop some more fentanyl, and all of a sudden.
So it was posted on, I think, Facebook and Instagram, and so it was like some sort of Google Sheets that I applied through, and then a couple of days after I applied, I got an email from Rory. He was the one that reached out. I was like, man, this could actually happen. So I had an interview with him, and then
you were working for a university doing sport media.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had worked for a couple of years there, and then when I was in college, I was basically a full-time employee, like while I was a student. But yeah, so he reached out. We did the interview, and he was like, "Hey, I'd like to have you down to see how everything goes." So
you told Rory you knew me, right?
You in a workout?
I did. You did.
Is that how you got the job? You told Rory you knew me, like you said, and you used the my support. Is that how you did it?
That was the first thing I said, actually.
Smart. I'm for sure that's why you got the job. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I came down here. We did a workout. I don't remember. It was like one of those 6 or 8 sets type of thing.
Yeah, you got tricked into it.
And I thought it was going to be 6 sets, so I paced for 6 sets, and then it was 8 sets, and I really died the last 2. And I was
So
much
you
less
come down
fit
there to
than I
interview
thought.
for a camera job position, for a filmmaker position, and the first test is not can we see your work? It's let's work out.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
Fitness. You know, we're a fitness company.
Yes, you are. I'm guessing, I'm making this assumption, but it's very, even though the Mayhem Empire has been around a long time, it's very entrepreneurial there. Meaning, like, this is a place where someone can really, really shine. Like, we have a guy, the people, as this podcast starts up, there's 4 guys on the team, including myself, and everyone does the job of 20 people. And everyone does the job that you couldn't pay someone $500,000 to do, because everyone is just running off. Everyone's just so inspired by the podcast. I'm guessing it's like that there for you at Mayhem, right? You get there, you're so inspired, you have your camera, you have all these subjects, and no one's like, okay. I mean, there might be times where, like, hey, for this video, we need to put something up showing Rich do 20 squats. But there's other times, and most of the time, you're just like, you're coming up with your own content and ideas, and
just a lot of creative freedom.
Yeah. I mean, we've got, especially this time of year, like once the season starts, we have almost never ending content. Like, we couldn't put out enough. So it's kind of balancing that with the fact that we also make content for Mayhem Athlete and ads and
not to mention we like to do a lot of random shit.
Yeah.
Like race cars or, you know, go on a mountain bike race or whatever it is. So
yeah, basically just tagging along on any random adventure that happens. And then obviously the season provides us with a ton of content.
The movie, which I think it would be fair to say it's a recap of the 2021 season for the Mayhem Empire. It really could be 3 times as long or 5 times as long. It could be a series. It could be a 10-part series in half-hour chunks. I don't know. It could be significantly longer. There was a lot of people. I would say the only shortcoming of the screener that I saw is that you want more. You want more of all the people in there. I would love to have seen more of Chase, got to know him better. Obviously, more of Guy. There's never enough of Rich. It was cool to see Tasia. I would have liked to get to know Tasia and her background a little more. I mean, the problem with this 90-minute thing is it's over like that. Is that what it was? It was like 90 minutes?
It was like an hour.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you just blink and it's over. I sat down with a bowl of food and I'm like, oh, it's over. It is really, really cool. There was a ton of scenes in there I have questions about. Rich, there's a scene in there where I think it's after day 1. It shows you in the parking lot with, you know, a bunch of people from Mayhem, and you guys are playing softball.
Yeah, wiffle ball.
Oh, wiffle ball. Would you have done that as an individual athlete? I see this and I'm like, well, someone needs to put a net on Rich, capture him, stick him in an ice bath, and then drag him over to a bed. Like, what is he doing?
There's an ice bath behind the campers. Yeah, I've always, I guess the hard part of when I was an individual, we were at a hotel and there wasn't room for that. You know, the last couple of years we've been staying at the RV park, which everybody kind of questions, but it's great. You know, it's close enough to the venue. It's got our people. We can kind of just hang out, decompress. And then, you know me from over the years, like I like to, you know, my kind of decompression or the things I like to do are hanging out with people that I, you know, value or people that I enjoy, and then also playing sports. So, yeah, I think I would have been doing that, but just didn't have the opportunity. But it's fun. It's been fun. We've done it last probably 2 years or so.
You really want to stress him out. Tell him where you were sleeping.
Where was I sleeping?
Yeah.
So we had this a friend of ours we brought a fifth wheel, and it's kind of a toy hauler. If you look up like what a toy hauler RV is, and so the back of it has, you know, where you can put ATVs and stuff, and there's some beds back there. But I was actually up in this kind of loft, and it was literally probably this tall. And to get down, you had to, like, in the middle of the night, I wouldn't get down. I had a bottle up there to piss in because it was just too hard to get down, up and down in the middle of the night. Yeah, like
awesome.
That. And so, but man, the rungs on the ladder were literally the dowels were maybe that big, so it felt like you were just on a lacrosse ball to step down. So the night I just pissed in a bottle.
How did you end up with that bed?
I picked it.
It sounds like it's so narrow that when you turn over, your butt hits the ceiling.
It was not that, like, I guess it was a little taller than that, but to get on all fours to try to pee in a bottle was really hard. And to concentrate on 3, like because you have to hold the bottle with one hand, so you're only on, it was 3 points of contact was tough.
Dude, you're
So,
so
yeah, I
hardcore.
gave Chase the front bed. So it wasn't, I slept great. You know, it was this nice little kind of cozy little nook up there. The Eagle's Nest.
What kind of bottle did you piss in?
It started out, the first night was a Gatorade bottle,
Uh-huh.
but I filled it up and had to have 2 up there. And then later on, it turned into a gallon jug.
With a screw top.
Screw top, for sure. I'm not
For
taking no
sure.
chance.
Hey, what I'm gonna try. What if I did that tonight? Like I came to bed with my wife and I brought a
Try it.
Gatorade bottle in
She'd
the bed.
love
She's like,
that,
"What are
I'm
you doing?"
sure.
I'm like, "I'm tired of getting up."
Oh, it's the worst.
Oh God! Have you ever brought a bottle into bed at home?
No, absolutely not.
Hillary's like, "What's that?" You're like, "In case I have to take a
apple
piss."
juice. I get thirsty in the middle of the night. No, she would kill me. Are you kidding me?
I know you
Yeah.
gotta try it.
No way.
So you don't overthink it. The softball. This is just like
It's fun.
it's the exact opposite of what I'm thinking. It's actually not. It's not a problem. It's not a challenge. It's actually essential to calming your nerves, part of your healing process, part of your recovery.
Yeah, you can spiral in those events, you know, and I've learned over the years that the more you think about it, the worse it's going to be. So, you know, there is a level of, hey, I need to concentrate on what's going on, but end of the day, it's nice to decompress from that a little bit because it's stressful enough that you don't want to add any more stress. If I'm just sitting around, I'm thinking about it, and I keep thinking about it. And this year was hard too because I didn't have my kids, and usually, you know, my kids are kind of my decompression there, as much as they probably add a little bit of stress, but they take my mind off of what I'm doing. So
I'm actually surprised to hear you say that in the movie. Scott captured a scene where you're sitting in a recliner, one of those outdoor recliners in front of the motorhome, and you say something about thinking about it, and thinking about it, and thinking about it. And the only times in my life that my brain runs away from me like that is like, you know, like when I got fired from CrossFit, you're right away like, okay, how am I going to pay the mortgage next month? Should I cancel my SiriusXM membership? You know what I mean? Or one April Fool's before many years ago, Haley told me she was pregnant and she wasn't. And she let me sit with that for 30 minutes. Yeah, that was a good one.
that's cool.
Dude, that was 30 minutes of replanning my whole life. And then April Fools. It was fucking, what an amazing experiment I got. But I just can't, it's for me, those seem so serious. I mean, what do you think about when you're, I guess worrying would be the word, when you're trying to think, when you're thinking about, after day one and you're sitting there and your brain won't stop, what are the things you're thinking about? Like, man, I wish Andrea wouldn't wear those red pants. I wish she'd wear black pants. I wish Chase wouldn't drool on me when he fucking runs behind me. I mean, like, what are you thinking about?
None of that really. You try to get away from competition. You know, like I said, for me, you know, everybody knows my faith is a huge part of that. So I go to that, and then my friends.
So wait a second. Going back to that. So you mean if your brain starts racing, thinking about day two, you'll start like thinking of like some of your scripture and like repeat it in your head.
Yeah, more just like, hey, it's gonna be all right, no matter, you know, because you like you're saying, you start snowballing. Well, you know, if we bomb this, then nobody's gonna care about anything that we're doing anymore, and then none of this matters. And I've got all these people that work for me, and my family that I have to take care of, and everybody's just gonna, you know, we're gonna crumble, and everybody thinks we're gonna suck. So, I mean, it's human to have those thoughts. I think, you know, it is what it is. You know, everybody I think thinks that I've been doing this for so long that I don't get nervous before workouts. Every workout I get nervous, and the games is a completely special thing. You know, you have different types of nervous for events. You have, all right, or how are we going to do on this event? Are we going to do bad, or, you know, whatever? How bad is this? Or then the other nervous is this workout's going to hurt really, really bad. And then, you know, there's just different things. So there's not one, I guess, set of nerves that go to each event. Each event has a little bit different piece to it. And, you know, at the end of the day, that first day we won however many, 3 or 4 events. And I think we only had like a 6-point lead or something like that. So you're thinking, all right, well, you know, we could win 6 events and still get second because, you know, there's no separation between us and other teams. And there's just a lot of things that go into that. So for me, yeah, I think my faith is a huge part of it. My family, having people around that can kind of take that off, you know, that away. You know, for years it was Darren being stupid and making jokes and doing those types of things. And he was there this year.
He was great there. Yep.
Yeah, he's great for that. And so I think that's one thing that to some of the other athletes that I feel like that might be something that I can pass on to them is, hey, and, like Sam gets so caught up in what's going on and kind of snowballs where it's like, hey, let's chill out. And it's a long weekend. It's not something that one day or one event can really, it can affect you negatively, but you can make up a lot throughout the weekend.
Yeah. Do you guys have a protocol with the team? Like, meaning if there's an event that goes bad, is there an allowed venting period there? Because I know you guys aren't a fan of complaining at all at the Mayhem Empire. So is there a time where you're allowing them to vent? Then it's like, okay, shut it down. Now let's get focused on the next one, or anything that's spoken about that?
I think it's kind of a natural evolution. You let people be pissed off for a little while, and it depends, I guess, if you're using that anger or whatever it is for the next event, then hell, I'll let it go. But if you kind of have a feel of, all right, is this going to affect how if this is going to affect the rest of the weekend or the next competition, if it's something that's just like, oh, a judge this, a judge that, who cares? Like, well, let's move on from that. That's gone. But if it's something that's going to motivate them and I can kind of sense that, then heck yeah, let's use that. I think you want that a little bit. And it's not hard with that crew, with the team especially. They're just a bunch of fierce competitors, so it's good.
I imagine that gets weeded out in the initiation process there with the workouts at the Mayhem Empire. It's like you come in and right away you're going to know if you're going to be a fit or not. If you say 6 rounds and you go 8 and you see him already having a bad attitude, probably not going to stick around long.
Yeah, I think they kind of self-weed themselves out. I don't know if there's ever been anybody that we've been like, hey, don't come back. But I think I have we joke about it, but I have about a 4, maybe 5 year half-life on people, and then they're finally done with me. They're like, I can't take this asshole anymore. So I think that's kind of my you got about 5 years, and if you're here for 5 years and you stick it out, or probably 4, then you probably stick it out for a while. But if it's over that or less, about that time is when people either are like, nah, I can't do this anymore. This guy sucks.
Scott, did you move? Or do you live? Scott, you live in Cookeville. When you get the job, you move there.
Yes.
And do you like Cookeville?
Yeah, Cookeville's awesome. We're close enough to like bigger cities if you want to go do that, but for the most part, just hanging out in town, and then we travel so much that it's a perfect size.
Could you pull up the YouTube page so we can show people? The movie will start at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time today. That's 6:30 Central Time. So that's like 10 hours from now. The YouTube page is it just It's just Mayhem?
CrossFit Mayhem.
CrossFit Mayhem.
CrossFit Mayhem. And I did notice a typo in the movie. You have it called Mayhem Nation. It's actually Mayhem Empire, but these are just small details.
We can change the channel name for you.
I don't mean to call you out on it publicly. Rich, you said something really interesting right there. Man, I don't think most people I've never heard you say anything like that. You're really looking at the big picture. You're not just the guy who works out and the barn happens to be in your backyard. It's funny because I was just speaking to Greg this morning, and he said one of the best things about not running CrossFit anymore is not worried about other people's jobs. Like, he said that he would lose sleep every night making sure that everyone who he ever hired, because we kind of for the first 10 years never fired a single person, even shit bags we kept around. Greg was just like, he treated the whole thing like a family, like every single fucking person. And you just you feel this stress that, man, no one would probably ever think you feel, that like, hey, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but it's almost kind of like 7th grade girl stuff. You're afraid that like it's not like someone might not like you, but you want to preserve the integrity of the team and the wins and all of that. Not necessarily just to win anymore, which is why you originally came here, but because you want everyone to keep their jobs. Yeah,
100%. I think
you turned into a businessman.
Unfortunately,
and a
father, a businessman. It's all this. I joke with my kids. I'm like, Lakeland, slow down on growing up. Growing up sucks, but no, it's great. It's it's hard not to have, not want to take care of your people when they do so much for us. I just work out for a living, and these guys capture it, and helps provide for my family, and not just my family at home, but I think of family here. And it is hard, like people are like, well, you can't mix you can't think of your business as family, but I do. It's tough, and we haven't had to fire anybody yet. That I can.
No,
think
people
of.
leave after 4 years. They hate.
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Well, that's more on the competitive side. The people that are with me day to day, they get tired of me after about 4 or 5 years. These guys they see me every day, but they can kind of be like, yeah, I'm not going to hang out in the barn anymore. So we're going to go back to the office. So they're not with me every day.
They get to go somewhere and edit.
We can just escape.
Exactly. They have, they joke about coming up every once in a while to work out, because I love having these guys around us, like I said, we are a fitness company. So on Saturdays, every once in a while, especially in the winter, they'll come up and kind of hang out and throw down, and never once complain, but it's fun. It's a good time.
Let's see if we can watch the numbers drop here really quick. Souza, can you put a link in the comments to their movie that's going to play tonight at 6:30 Central Time? And then if you guys, there's a button you can hit. It's the reminder button, and then you'll get a notice a few minutes before it goes live tonight, and then you'll get it. Can we put that link in the comments? There's a guy here. Where was that? He wants. Here. This is. Sevan, ask Rich if Fikowski is how he's feeling having to live in a tent behind the barn until the official announcement. When are you guys gonna let Fikowski come out with the news that he's coming to the Mayhem Empire?
I've heard that rumor, and I know he did reach out to Rory at one point about just coming down to hang out, and so anybody's welcome to come hang out in Cookville. So, but Fikowski does not live out behind the barn. Sorry, not like Refit a couple years ago. We made kind of a parody video about. That's where Refit lived, and it was pretty funny.
Do you is there ever a time where you're just like you fantasize about just turning it all off? Like, okay, because you say something at the end. Did you do the interview at the end, Scott, where Rich says, well, I have all these other guys are working out and I'm working out with them. I might as well. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I think this might be Barack Obama. He calls in and I have to take all of his. Hello.
Hang on to your hats.
Hello.
Hey, this is Brent. Rich, can you unlock the front door? It's really cold outside.
Oh,
that's
shit. Oh, it's Brent. It's Brent Fikowski. He's out front, guys. He's out front.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to spill the beans on that.
You blew it. Yeah, no, it's actually, side note, it's been kind of tough to keep under wraps who the new teammate is. Putting out media and kind of having to keep them off. What was it, next week? We'll announce, I guess.
Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah. So Chase did a great job this last year, and having a little girl and all the travel. So he kind of stepped down. The girls will come back, but Brent, I'll go ahead and knock that name off the list. Brent will not be.
Hey, is your new team? It's a dude. Your new teammate.
Yep.
Is it just is it someone we know, or is it just another family member you're digging out of Michigan? Like, I got another cousin over there. His name's Skip.
Funny thing
and
is,
he
I got a couple other cousins that are trying to compete this year on the team. So,
do we know this guy, or are you just digging someone out from the family tree?
No, you guys don't know him.
All right, I like it when you dig people out of the family tree. It's like flexing. Like, hey, I can just grab anybody. Look, I got to do Chase over here.
Man, Chase was an incredible teammate, and he did awesome last year. So I was super proud of him and proud to have him on the team.
Scott, did you do that closing interview with Rich at the end where he's like, hey, I might as well?
Rory conducted the interviews. I was there for it, and we discussed like things we wanted to talk about. But yeah, in a way,
you made did you put a filter on that? Rich looked 5 years younger in that interview than he did at the games. I'm like, wow, he looks younger at the end of the movie than he does at the beginning.
That's like the fifth line of my
filter.
job description.
Yeah.
Like,
make Rich look less old because he's old.
When you say stuff like that, part of me thinks, oh, part of him just like wants to just turn it all off. Like, okay, guys, the barn's closed, and like I got enough money in Bitcoin, and I can just like, Buffalo, get out of here, and like just like, does any part of you just want to be like, dude, like turn it off?
I mean, there are days where you just people and emotions and all that type of stuff. It gets tough, but that lasts about a day or two, and then you're like, come on, it's fine. Everybody here fits in well. I think, like we were talking about earlier, I think people just like not self-weed themselves out, but when they feel like it's their time, they just kind of move on to whatever else they have going on. And I'm just still left here in the barn working out, and it just kind of revolves and rotates and kind of evolves as it goes. And, you know, people get to the point in their career where they don't want to compete anymore, and that is what it is. And so I've been in it so long that I guess I'm the one constant in that whole situation.
Is there anyone who says to you, like, if you ever did second guess it, like, hey dude, you live a really good life, like this is
I've
so
got a great
cool.
life. Yeah. Heck,
Yeah.
no, I mean, sometimes there's times where people are like, oh, it's great, you get to work out for a living, which is incredible, until it, you know, your livelihood is dependent on that. That makes it a little bit more tough and a little bit more stressful.
Yes.
I do really enjoy working out. The training part of it is a grind. You know, that's I am looking forward to the point in my life where I'm like, all right, I'm going to go work out. Like, working out and training are two different things. And, you know, I'll still be around in the background, but I won't be as stressed about getting something in. And my kids are getting to that age where they're going to start wanting to play sports and doing those types of things. And I want them to take, you know, front and center versus what I'm doing.
Yeah, by really good life, I didn't mean the working out part.
Yeah,
I meant the part
life.
that you have a big backyard, you have a wife that loves you, and you work in the same you can when you're at work, you can look out the door and there's your kid.
There's my kids, and last night, you know, it was Violet's birthday. She turned 4 yesterday, and got done training, and still had to go put some hay out for the bison and for Hillary's Highlands and the horses. And so Violet, my 4-year-old, in her Elsa dress, wants to go get in the tractor and go put hay out with Dad. So, you know, I've got a pretty damn good life.
Scott, there were some shots in there when Rich was standing next to Junior, was standing next to Senior, and I'm no scientist, but smarter than most. Dad's arms look bigger than Rich's. Is there any truth to that, or is that just a sleight of camera angle?
I think he out-angled him.
Yeah.
So
okay, because your arms, his arms are looking big, buddy. His arms are looking big.
Honestly,
amazing.
his one downfall.
I thought you were going to say his one arm is bigger.
No, his one downfall was the lack of use of hammers. So when I was a kid, all he used was a hammer, and his arms and forearms, biceps and forearms were huge. And now he uses a drill, which still requires a little bit of like stability there, but you don't have the same as a 16-ounce hammer. So, but yeah, Dad's still jacked surprisingly, and I don't know how. I guess he just moves. The guy never moves. He's like a shark. Him and my mom are like sharks. If they move, they die.
If he stops moving, he dies.
That's what I meant. That's opposite. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, stops moving, they die. They're just both always just, you know, moving.
And
Scott, do you ever have to correct him in the movie like that? Like he says something and you're like,
you're wrong.
Yeah, we cut that part out.
It's not a 16-inch hammer, Rich. It's a 16-ounce hammer.
Rich Senior loves camera time too.
Oh yeah.
The beginning of the movie, which I haven't like really showed anyone outside of, you know, people who've seen it yet. Didn't put it in the trailer or any of that stuff, but he gets his 60 seconds of fame in that one.
Look at Sevan. He's really mesmerized. Yes, so what? So what? There he is. He looks great. I actually, when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, maybe because I'm growing a beard out right now, and I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it.
Yeah.
I was thinking just pure. I was really actually inspired. The beards at Wadapalooza were something else. Rory's, yours. Oh yeah, yours is gone. Yeah, you were looking like you were Egyptian. What happened to yours, Rich? Why'd you cut that thing off?
What's the term? Happy wife, happy life.
Oh yes.
Yeah, basically in the winter I just grow it until Hillary's like, hey, she'll start making subtle comments. Yeah, and she started making enough subtle comments that it went away. You know, it is what it is. I want to be attractive to my wife. That's all that really matters. And so
yeah,
she says, hey, that needs to go. It went, and man, that was. I did like.
Dude, when your beard starts getting bigger than your head, it's dope. I mean, you look like you don't even look like you're from this time period.
I know, right?
No, you and Rory look like you're from like
Rory's is huge. Yeah, Rory had about a month ahead of me, I think.
Yeah, and he's still going.
He's still going. Yeah,
there's no end in
still
sight
going
for
strong.
Rory.
He says first day of spring, maybe. Is that what he said?
Really?
I think that's what he said.
And is there stuff in there? What do you put in there? I've been putting mud in it. Do I have?
My go-to was I would kind of trim the sides a little bit to where it got that, you know, feather at the bottom. And then whatever I put in my hair, the last little bit that's left over, I just kind of combed it all down.
Yeah. Man, it looks good. Are you just go straight to growing it back?
I wish, but I don't think Hillary would approve. This might be my summer you know, like whatever a 4 guard on the Norelco one blade might be where I'm at for the summer.
It's so nice not
You know,
shaving, isn't it?
my daughter, Lakeland, begs me every time I shave my face to shave a mustache. Every single time. She loves a mustache, which should be alarming, I think, maybe a little bit.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Tom Selleck. As long as she does, I was going to make a bone media joke, but I better not make any bone media jokes. How are Steve? There's a story in there, and I'm sorry that I missed the exact detail of it. It happened so quickly, and I was streaming the movie from my phone to my TV, and I didn't want to fuck with it. How are Steve and Chase related?
Dad. Steve was Chase's dad.
His dad.
Yeah.
Wow. How many kids does Steve have?
Steve has 3 kids, Brody, Chase, and Paige. Wow.
And so Chase was he was crazy proud of what Chase was doing.
Oh yeah. He's proud of all of his kids and and it's Hillary's uncle, first uncle. It's my mother-in-law's brother. And yeah, man, Steve was a dude. He was a great member here at Mayhem. Had, you know, in the last couple of years really got into CrossFit and loved it and head over heels like everybody. You know, once you get in, you're like, oh man, this is awesome. I've been missing this. And it really kind of turned around his life on health and all that kind of thing. And man, it was hard. It was tough.
Scott, have you ever had a brand new car?
No.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I have a fiance.
Yeah.
Oh, you do have a fiance. How long have you been?
7 years.
How long have you been with her? I apologize. 7 years.
Yeah, a long time. I think.
I'm trying to
I think
I'm asking you a bunch
Tennessee,
of
we may
loaded
legally
questions.
be married
Sorry.
Just
say it again.
I think in Tennessee we may legally be married just because of like time together.
Right, and I think all you have to do in Tennessee is be over 12 and hold a girl's hand, and you're married. Share a Mountain Dew, and you're good to go. Yeah,
pretty close.
Share Mountain Dew with one straw, and you're married.
Done.
Do you ever when I was in high school, after my senior year, my mom bought me this Toyota 4x4 pickup truck, brand new, $14,900, 4x4 extra cab. And every morning I would wake up for like 2 years.
Is that Back to the Future?
And I would go back and I would look at it and I'd be like, I cannot fucking believe this is mine. Like I just could not believe I had my own car. And now I have kids and I have 2 5-year-olds and a 7-year-old. And every morning when I see them, I cannot believe these dudes are in my life. I'm just in shock. Like, who are these dudes running around my house? Do you ever feel that? And I used to get that feeling around some of the athletes, definitely around Rich. Do you ever get this? Do you ever get used to walking into the gym and like, shit, there's Rich Froning. I'm here at the Mayhem Empire. This is nuts. Oh, that's Guy. Like now I see Guy and Haley and Rich together, and you kind of have to be like, you can't even. I mean, it's fun, right? It's like it's like a cake that no matter how many bites you take out of it, it's still there.
Yeah, I think going back to what Rich said earlier, like the content for me, like as people, I'm so used to seeing everyone around, I don't think of it. But then when I'm lining up like content ideas for the season, I'm like, wow, we really have a lot of great athletes we can pull from and like share their stories throughout the season. Like Guy, he's not really featured too much in the Undisputed film because he wasn't actually our athlete at the time. I just happened to film him when I was sitting there for the snatch event.
How could you not?
Because he was going back and forth with Royce, and I was like, well, maybe this will be useful at some point. He had the Fronings on, and I think he wore them for his other 2 event wins. So I wasn't sure if he wanted money, Reebok money, or if he also
or if he wanted Rich love or Reebok money. Get both. Yeah. Why can't you get both?
So yeah, I would say for me, like as people, I'm definitely pretty used to everyone, I would say, because we hang out a lot. But for content, it's like, wow, we really have a lot of great stuff to work with here.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. And like Haley Adams, I mean, is there anyone more photogenic? I mean, she looks like one of those characters out of the Viking movie.
I think award for most photogenic may be Luke Parker.
Luke Parker,
yeah,
quite yeah, he's pretty darn photogenic himself. Who sweats more?
Scott. That's surprisingly, Scott sweats more than I do, which is very, very hard because
That's not good for camera equipment.
I'm now the second
No,
sweatiest person.
It's
on the
actually
planet.
terrible for it. That was a problem at the games. It was a legitimate problem. Is I'd hang over the camera and sweat would drip onto onto the screens and onto the camera.
Wow.
Yeah,
But I was going to
impressive
ask you, who sweats more, Andrea Nisler or Taylor Williamson? Who sweats more to the two of them?
I think Taylor.
Maybe Taylor, but Andrea has this like saliva thing where she just spits all the time.
The Dan Baylee phenomenon.
Yeah, the snotter. Yep.
Wow. Like she's one of those giant dogs where just like
everywhere, like
just shits everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good to know. I like that. That's awesome.
A lot of effort going on there, you know.
Who got the shot of Haley Adams running next to
That was a cool shot.
Sam Briggs, and
yeah,
what kind of camera and what kind of rig was that? That's an insane shot. I wish you would have shown it 20 times in a row.
That was probably one of the shots of the games. And the crazy thing is we actually it wasn't from our media team. So Haley has a YouTube channel. She launched it at the games, I think. And so one of her partners, BPN, they had a couple guys there, Jordan Utter and Tyler McCain. And I don't know which one of them got it, but it was one of those two guys. He had, I think it was an FX3 he had on a gimbal, and he knew when she was coming in, and he just started sprinting, I guess. And I was like, I don't know how you got that shot, because I could barely walk in those media pits, let alone sprint full speed during an event. Like with my luck, I would have taken somebody out and gotten kicked out of the games.
Me too.
Yeah, that was an incredible shot.
Like Rory?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has Rory been kicked out of the games?
2019, right?
Yeah. Because he posted a video of somebody stepping on the line and or not step. It was something weird.
Some situation like that. Yeah.
It was the year when it was a free for all. You remember that?
Yeah, and you just had to like pick a country.
Yeah.
And you could come. Yeah, that was great. That's great. Good shit. Oh, Rich, I can't wait till you retire and we can just really just
piss everybody off.
Yeah, just get just drunk as fuck and have at it. Just sit on 2 buffalo and I just ask you all the crazy questions. We'll be naked, maybe a loincloth.
Loincloth? All right.
Yeah,
I'll throw
really.
back. How about that?
Have your life so different than when you started?
Yeah,
so you start, you're driving this hoopty, you live in this I think maybe the first time I met you,
I think when you were here.
Very first time, yeah. And there was really nothing. There was just you had I met your sister, you had your mom, you had your dad, and you had Hillary, and then you had the gig over at Tennessee Tech.
Yep.
And then you had your homies there. You had your family. You and Darren there was a Globo gym that we did some filming at. Maybe it wasn't even a Globo gym. It was like cool corporate fitness gym. That place was huge. Is that place still there?
Oh yeah, we actually manage that corporate fitness facility now.
Still. Yeah. Oh, and you were doing something with you and Darren worked there before, right?
We worked there, and then now we manage it as Rich Froning Fitness manages it. So. Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And how many LLCs do you have?
I have Rich Froning Fitness, which everything is basically under. With me and Hillary, and then we have Froning Farms, which is a separate LLC with Matt Billings. You met Matt before, my best friend growing up.
Okay. But now there's like so much new shit. There's like a house. There's things called LLCs. There's Buffalo.
Escorts.
There's kids. There's other athletes. I mean, it's just before it was just like, hey, Dan, you want to work out? And
right.
And there's is there anything else? What other things have you? How do you keep adding these things to your life? Like what gets pushed out, what's getting moved around? And do you ever pick up any, like, I don't want to say bad shit, but like, have you started drinking whiskey, or do you smoke cigars, or do you have a porn habit, or like, what, like, is there any like thing that's crept in where it's like,
none of those three? Honestly, I think
none of those three. Okay.
I think fitness might be my, honestly, like, and this is the last couple of years, I've kind of, is my substance, like there is some substance abuse family history, and it is what it is. And I honestly, the more and more I look into it, I feel like it is a little bit of my substance. It's you could say it's not a bad substance, but anything that you overdo is bad. And so for me, having these other outlets, I guess, and kind of responsibilities are a good thing. You know, like having the farm has been incredible, not only for family life, but even for my marriage. Like Hillary and these Highland cows, I call them her therapy cows, because my wife, you've known my wife for 14 years, and she hates anything to do with outdoors and doing anything before outside with her hands. And now she freaking loves these stupid cows, loves them, and gets pissed off that nobody loves them. It's like, she walked in the house the other day and she goes, you know what effing pisses me off? And I'm like, what? She's like, that nobody loves these cows as much as I love these cows. And I just looked at her with this blank stare. Like a year ago, it's like a completely different woman, but it's been incredible that she just has something that she loves besides our kids. I mean, but she goes out there every day. She brushes these stupid cows with this brush. And like yesterday, I just look out there and she's just got her phone out and she's got the horse. Like she's got this really cool picture of our horse Poncho. And then she's like kisses him on the cheek. And he like starts just like, it looks like he kisses her on the back of the head. It's incredible. But just, you know, having those types of things, that's there it is. Like she loves
wow, that's a cool cow.
Cows more than anything outside of our family. But it's been great. Like I'm so happy that she has found something that she loves. But that's what it is for us on the farm stuff. Is this is a picture. Like, look at him. He just loves on it. It blows my mind. So the farm stuff has been really good. Like I said, for not just the bison, but, you know, having these cows now and the horses, and it gives our family something to do and gives our kids some chores to do and let them see what hard work is. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know, how much she loves those stupid cows. I call them Highland, or I call them golden doodles with horns. But
oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Hey, have you seen her do anything where she walks out there, she looks out at the horizon, she reaches down, picks up like a cow patty,
sniffs it? No, I did look out there.
Throws it into the wind. She's like, is she getting like maybe she got a feather, like she's doing some Native American shit?
I saw her sit down, because we have two of them that are they were halter broke, and they were around people from a really young age, and the rest we've kind of just gotten at random places, auctions. We actually, as weird as this sounds, we rescued a cow.
No, it doesn't sound weird for you guys.
Okay. And so one day I look out and she's just sitting on the ground in the middle of this field, not like legs crossed, arms out, but her legs might have been crossed. And then all of a sudden, all these cows just start walking towards her, and not just the two that are halter broke, but the ones that won't let people around start just like surrounding her. It was
the cow whisperer.
The cow whisperer. I'm telling you. And if you'd have told me Hillary Froning was a cow whisperer a year ago, I'd have called you effing crazy. But she loves these cows.
Those things show up all the time.
We're
literally leaving to go to, I think it was Tampa for the flag football tournament.
Yeah.
And there's like another hauler trailer coming.
Another cow showed up. That was the rescue cow. Somebody said, hey, I bought this cow. It's super lonely. It won't eat. It's by itself. We can't keep it. Would you take it? And Hillary goes, can we have this cow?
And it's just on the property. Do they roam with the buffalo?
No, they're in a separate field with the horses. There's just some weird, it's called brucellosis. Bison carry it, and it's bad for cows. So we just keep them in separate fields. They stay with the horses. But yeah, it's really
interesting.
It's just
that sounds like bullshit.
What? The brucellosis thing?
Yeah.
No,
it reminds me of something else we've been going through for the last couple of years. Can't remember what, but sounds like bullshit to me.
Brucellosis is the thing that they all out west, they freak out about in Yellowstone. The ranchers hate that the bison come out of Yellowstone, so then they kill them, because brucellosis is supposed to spontaneously cause cows to abort their calves.
Oh.
Yeah. Farms.
Have you had any babies on the farm?
Oh yeah, bison. We've had eight bison calves now.
Have you seen a birth?
Yes.
It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty incredible. We actually last Easter, for about an hour and a half, 10 of us just sat out there and kind of watched this cow, you know, because you don't want to make sure that usually bison don't have issues birthing, because they're wild animals essentially. But you know, we just sat out there and kind of watched, as weird and kind of gross as it was, but it was really cool at the same time.
Yeah, bison have big, huge, healthy vaginas that just push out babies.
The
wild bison, the vagina of a wild bison is incredible.
We should have him do the next documentary on bison. Voice it over.
Notice the vagina. I was driving on a freeway one time, and there was and I went by. fucking slammed on the brakes and I pulled over, and I think I was coming home from Tony Budding's wedding. This might've been like 10 or 12 years ago. And my wife's like, what's up? And I go, check this out. And we jump out of the car, and in this field, like 20 feet from the side of the freeway, there's a cow, and I could see it was fully dilated right as I drove by, and it had its like vagina pointed at it. And I'm like, that cow's about to have a baby. Then across the freeway, it was just a 2-lane country freeway. There was a whole field of cows. And we sat there for an hour and watched it birth. And those cows in the other field cheered on.
Really? Mooing?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. They were cheering on mama all by herself. And when the baby finally came out, those dudes over there like raged.
That's
like
awesome.
rage, bucking cows and shit. And it was like 5 minutes of just the loud. I didn't even know cows could make these noises. Like they were barking and whooping and hollering. I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was
Bird
nuts.
animals.
Yeah. And you know, they came out, it was like, they come out with like, I don't know, 100 gallons of liquid too. It must feel so good
there's
for
a lot of going on there.
It must feel so good to birth a cow. Done.
Who knew we would go to there?
So will you have to birth the Highlands? How does that work?
That I don't know. We might have to. That's Hillary. That's Highlands are all Hillary.
That's more content for the Froning Farms YouTube channel.
We do. Yep. It is. He's not always thinking of content. Like I said,
yeah, it's good. I like that.
Pro.
At 6:30 tonight Central Standard Time, that's 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, the documentary Undisputed will be coming out. It is Scott Vander Sloot's project, along with the Mayhem Empire media team. It's a great film. There is a really great moment in there that I really appreciated, where Samuel wants to basically he's hurting, and Royce Dunn is basically telling him, hey, you're gonna hate yourself if you don't do this.
Yep.
When you get moments like that, Scott, are you just stoked? You're like, oh yes. Like just the intimacy of it all. You're like, oh yes.
Especially when it lines up where those two guys tell a parallel story like that, and you can kind of see it play out on the floor. That's like a perfect scenario.
Two really good guys.
Yeah, two good dudes for sure.
I hate that Sam got that sick, because people, I've seen people kind of brush off that, well, it's just an excuse. Sam was incredibly fit before the games, and that happened. It was just, it's just one of those things that happens, but it was just very, I would have put Sam in the top 5 for sure before the games.
Yeah,
he exuded the most confidence of any athlete I can ever remember interviewing when we interviewed him before the games. Almost like the confidence of a fighter. Like he's so not confidence like I'm better than other people, but confidence like he's so sure of himself.
Absolutely.
Like he really believed in himself. His commitment also going into this year is pretty nuts. The separation from his family and shit. It's fucking
Sam's a good dude to have around. He's a really good guy.
You had Eric Diaz do the graphics. How did you manage that? And how fun is it to work with Eric?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's done like some of our leaderboard graphics and some intros in the videos in the past, and that's just another connection from Rory. Just having worked with him and knowing him and being able to have him on speed dial a little bit for certain projects. But he is crazy talented.
Yeah, he's crazy talented, and he's so easy to work with. A lot of creative people don't take feedback well. He's like,
he'll just
go forever with him.
Absolutely.
Will there be another one next year?
Yes. Yeah. Every year we're trying to do things bigger and better. So we did a Road to the Games series last year. We'll do that again this year with more episodes and hopefully better episodes, and we'll do the same thing with this.
And when you say better, what do you mean?
And just in every way, like improve the cinematography a little bit, improve the pacing, improve the storytelling. I think we have some really like potentially captivating storylines this year that we can tell. And those should be very interesting to see how they play out.
Yeah. It could, I'm telling you, it could be like 20-part series.
Yeah, it definitely felt that way.
You touched a lot of subjects that I was like, oh, I would love to know more about that. Oh, I'd love to know. I mean, shoot, now if Rich sleeps in that same spot again, you got to get a shot of that bottle.
Well, so I didn't find out about that until I guess it was at Legends of the Falls, an event we do down in Alabama. And I think Ben was sleeping, one of our other camera guys, he was sleeping in the same spot as Rich. And that's kind of where I found out that he was up there during the games.
Like some pee was dripping down from Rich's bed onto him, and he's like, "What's that?"
He's rubbing
What's
it all
going on?
over his skin.
Yeah. Yes. That's
Absorb the power.
yes. Yes.
That's what I would do.
Now you're talking my language, Scott.
Yeah.
My last question for Rich. You've probably been asked this 10 million times. When will you go individual again? No, not that question. Sorry. Not that. This one you've been asked only 12 million times. Which is the best Mayhem team in the history of Mayhem participating at the games?
Oh man, I think they all have, the.
I fucking knew
I know.
it.
I know.
Fucking just hang up on them, Matt.
I know, right? This is such a this year will be the best Mayhem team.
Yes.
That was going to be my answer.
Yeah, it probably will be. Last year was an incredible team. I mean, the year of the super team and the fact that we still kind of held our own with relatively, Tasia and Trey, and that was a really and it is such a cliche, whatever answer, but I have had a ton of fun with each and every team that I've been on, and each team has a different place in my heart. But yeah, this next team coming up is going to be the fittest for sure.
It is that's great. Is Caleb, pull this clip. Are the girls coming back?
The girls are coming back.
And so what I heard, and tell me if this is right, and I heard that it is Matt Fraser, and you guys have hired Herb Dean, the UFC, he's the UFC referee, their biggest referee, that he's going to be there at all the training to make sure nothing weird happens between you and Matt.
Me and Matt, yeah.
But I heard it's Matt Fraser's joining the team, and you guys are just going to have a referee and two bouncers there to keep you guys apart. And then,
we're going to fight about who gets the program and then who gets to actually lead the team. It's going to be,
dude.
We're actually going to put a, do you remember the scene from The Dark Knight where he takes the pool stick and breaks it and says we're going to have tryouts? We are going to do that with a PVC pipe, and Scott's going to film it.
Content.
The funniest part about that stuff is I spent just a month just tearing into Katrin David's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think, man, if I just brought her on the podcast, or I've spent fucking a year tearing into Eric Rosa, if I just brought him on the podcast, everyone just sucked it up and swallowed it and bit down on the mouthpiece and just did the interview, it would fucking be nuts. And it would be so nuts. You just think of the fun thing you can do. You could be like, okay, Matt and Rich are going to be on the same team together. They're never going to talk. And you film the whole thing. They're never going to talk. They never even actually train together. They're in separate garages right next to each other.
There's a wall, a glass divider where you can see each other, but you can't talk.
The thing is I know you, and I think I know all human beings. None of us want to be fighting with fucking anyone. No one wants to be fucking have tension with anyone. At the end of the day,
the older you get, the less you want to have that tension. You're like, what the hell? Maybe when you're in your early 20s, you're like, I want to fight everybody, and then now you're like, I'm too old for that shit.
I'd really just can't just bring your kids over and let's sit in lawn chairs and just watch our kids fight.
Let's just have fun. I mean, we both want the same things. Take care of our families. Scott,
thank you for doing this. Congratulations. I'm sure you're not taking any of it for granted. I know I never did. What a cool thing you have. You have great subjects. You have great people. Man, the work you're doing is next level. I know how hard it is to put something together with that many cuts and that many slow-mos and that much detail, and the audio is great. I mean, and it's in 4K. Damn.
Anytime I walk in there, it's like the Matrix to me. I'm like, what is this line on the bottom? Why are you copying and pasting? I don't get it. So they do incredible jobs. I really appreciate all the work that they do for us. Not making me look old,
Man, you look great. So if anyone wants to see that, I know everyone does. You're gonna have probably at least 500 views, I think, Scott. So you
I only hope.
Please. Will be in 10 hours from now. 10 hours and 2 minutes. Thanks for coming on, guys. I know.
Thanks for having us.
You're becoming a regular.
Let me know when you want to talk